Sri Aurobindo Mira is my refuge. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Paramocha Prabhu Satyam Nityatwameva Kevalam Anuvartamahe Satyam Anujivam Kevalam Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Namaste, Vande Mataram, good morning, welcome all of you. Today the topic of the spiritual discussion will be on supramental experience, part 2. So already we have discussed part 1. Few experience when the supramental force descended, not only force, consciousness, force and light, so everything when there was a descent. Few people, very limited people, only 5 people heard the experience as mother course. Already in the initial discussion we have discussed the experience as experienced by Amal Kiran. So we'll go for the second in the while discussing, and we'll go to the next experience. That was the experience of Sri D.R. Bendre, one Kannada poet. So as he was experiencing, we'll go for his experience little deliberately. We'll discuss on February 29th, 1956. Of course, that was the day. Already we have listened, we have already quoted here. This was the day, 29th February 1956, the supramental manifestation upon earth. It was taken place during the common meditation on Wednesday. Already we have discussed in part 1. So to your better remembrance and recalling, I will quote it again. So this experience of Mr. Bendre, a Kannada poet, he had the experience of this supramental manifestation, of course. On February 29th, 1956, Sri Bendre was proceeding to Dharwar via Nagpur. So to Dharwar via Nagpur he was there. After receiving the best teacher award in Delhi, got the award, he was just returning, he was just to Dharwar via Nagpur. He was in a first class compartment. Great man was during that period. He was traveling by a first class compartment with 2 Westerners. So those 2 Western people, he had to travel with that. Those people alighted at Nagpur for some tea and snacks. That was the station. They just alighted, but they did not come back. They did not return, even though there was a luggage was still in the counter compartment. But they did not know. No, they did not return. They couldn't come round. So they had gone for the tea and snacks. Then what happened? Now Mr. Bendre was alone in that compartment. Of course, total 3 was there. These 2 they had gone outside for tea and snacks. They have never come back. So Mr. Bendre was alone. Outside, he witnessed a glorious sunset. Just imagine what was his experience. Outside, he witnessed a glorious sunset. Then the first shades of nightfall. Just imagining how he is having the experience. Very good news. Very good. I will quote it again. So beautiful, a glorious sunset, and then the first shades of the nightfall. The ceiling fan was whirring at full speed. Then time that of the AC and all that problem was there. The wheeling, the fan was actually wheeling in full speed. Suddenly, Sri Bendre saw the gold dust falling upon the fan. The fan was whirring. That time he saw the gold dust falling upon the fan. Then he saw people ascending a mountain. Just imagine his own experience. He is scripting out. There was a gold dust is falling from the fan. Then he saw people ascending a mountain, and this gold dust enveloping them. This gold dust falling when they are ascending to a mountain. It is actually enveloping them. At the same time, he heard an immense downpour of sound. There is an immense downpour of sound he could be able to hear. Later, he expressed this in a poem where he says, experiencing his describing his experience in his a great poem. A sound as from 1,000 stringed instrument falls upon the earth like the descent of Ganga. That the great Ganga, when it is falling, the earth is not prepared. So Lord Shiva, he is actually showing his head through his actually this hair. It is coming to the surface of the earth. So a sound as from 1,000 stringed instrument falls upon the earth like the descent of Ganga. It was his gorgeous description by Mr. Bendre. His vision continued for some time. It was a continuous one. This vision came, stayed there. Later, it was reported to the mother. He is said to be one of those outside the ashram. Not many from outside, as mother quoted, outside from the ashram who had extraordinary experience in the relation to this supramental manifestation that took place on 29th February, of course, in 1956. So this was the second experience after K.D. Setna. It was by Bendre, Kannada poet. So third one, the experience we are going to quote from Justice Vasishtha. On 20th same day, on 29th February 1956, Justice Vasishtha, during his meditation, he was meditating, he was sitting in meditation. During that meditation period, saw a blue light emanating from the east and traveling westward. This blue light emanating from west, it is traveling for westward, he saw. The light gradually increased until it covered all the four directions. Initially, it was traveling from eastern to western, but afterward, it was actually gradually increased that light and covered the all four directions that we have already seen. So that was the experience, this was the glorious experience as experienced by Justice Vasishtha during his meditation. So next one will go for the experience by Indubhai Patel. He was in that time Mombasa in Kenya. I will see his experience, of course. I had a vision, he quotes. I saw a darkness which grew paler and then started clearing up. This darkness getting paler and paler, it is then getting started clearing up. At that moment, I saw written across the clearing pillar 29th February 1956. It was just a flash. His cleaning, so just imagine, I will try to quote it again. At that moment, I saw written across the clearing Palor 29th February 1956. It was just a flash, and at once I noticed a golden ball. Again, the same golden experience. Golden ball shooting out of my heart. I noticed a golden ball shooting out of my heart region with a little sound. Heart region, from my heart region with a little sound, a golden ball is getting shooted out. Before I could focus my eyes on the ball that is shooted from my heart region, before I could focus on my eyes on the ball, it widened out and proceeded to spread the golden area. That same golden ball it is proceeded to spread in golden area. The widening went to on every second and progression in waves. Just imagine how it is spreading with a too swift speed. It is wandering throughout. All the pulling darkness was being devoured. There was no darkness. It was gone, pale, thin. It went away, disappeared. Right after 5:30 Indian time, because it was the description was from Mombasa, Kenya. So right after 5:30 their time, and Indian Standard Time is at around 8 p.m. I suddenly saw the whole sky filled with whitish golden clouds. The entire sky is filled with whitish golden cloud, which seemed as if descending up to the earth. I kept looking, trying to understand the scene. I looked at and tried to understand the scene. I felt I was having the supraphysical vision. But a prayer rose from in my heart. So feeling these are the events are all supraphysical, only gold, gold, gold. Then what happens? There was a prayer from her. Whatever is, then that Kannada poet, Mr. Bendre, like his writing in the poetry, that it is actually descending down like Ganges. Ganga, river Ganga. So this is in his prayer, Mr. Patel, Indubhai Patel is writing, whatever this may be, please guard the children who have relied on me. Just imagine how horrifying, how terrible, how actually, why astonishing, amazing scene. Please guard the children who have relied on me. With this prayer, I again looked up. At all the time, I saw the descent of the whitish golden cloud. Golden cloud and whitish golden cloud, it was there. So these are the experience, of course. I will try to little bit, not fully, to quote Mr. Amal Kiran towards the towards the end. Then what happens here towards after he had the vision in the train, then he's feeling again and again he's finding after shutting his eyes he see mother is standing before him, writing his experience to the mother, but received no reply. When he wrote all his experience to mother, actually there was no reply from the mother, of course. Then only what happened, then only my return to the ashram, when he returned she explained what had happened. Then mother explains the entire happenings what had happened. It sounds too self-glorying to the talk, the glorification of the talk, it is self-glorifying. Then, but it was a very glorious thing to hear from her. Mother describes everything. Mother clears all the clarities are there from the mother. It was actually amusing. She said, I will see the mother's description. There were only 5 people who knew about the supramental manifestation, 2 in ashram and 3 from us outside. I bawled out. Then what happened? Then what is the idea of staying in the ashram? This gentleman is asking mother. If 2 from ashram and 3 from outside, the number of people staying outside who had the experience of supramental descending event, supramental manifestation descent, they are outnumbering the ashram people, then what is the use in staying in the ashram? Then with a little laughter, mother quotes, I don't mean that anybody actually knew the supermind had the real manifested, mother quotes. I don't mean that anybody actually knew. They did not have the idea that this is the supramental light, it has been manifested, it is actually exploring and it has been actually spreading. They did not have the idea, they did not have they did not knew about the supermind had manifested, but something extraordinary happened to some people. They have already seen, they have been experienced. Among those 3 who wrote from who were from outside, I count you. Puzzled, I asked, how was that? She answered, did not you write me on the day of 29th February at night? You had seen me in the railway compartment. That experience you had written me. Then this gentleman is getting dazzled how what is happening. Then I said, yes, but what did happen really? She replied, mother replied, do you remember I promised in 1938 to inform you? Already I promised before you to inform you something in 1938. I came in now to fulfill my promises. So that I promised that something is going to happen. I had a promise. I promised to you in 1938. Of course, that I came now to fulfill my promise. I was absolutely overwhelmed. My God, what grace the divine could give to a poor fool. I fell at the mother's feet and in deepest gratitude. Just imagine what is the real position. And after this vision, I can try to quote the vision. It was the huge boat, mother once had the vision. It was a huge boat which was a symbolic representation of a place where this work is going on. This boat as large as the city, fully organized, and it was certainly already been functioning for some time. For its organization was complete, it was the place where the people who are destined for the supramental life are trained. Then mother also quotes again, the immense ship had reached the shore of the supramental world, and a vast group of people who were destined to become the future inhabitants of the supramental world were to disembark. Everything had been arranged for their fast landing. I was in charge of the whole thing from the beginning and all time. I had prepared all the groups of myself. Just imagine I am permanently in that charge, mother quotes. When I came back, so simultaneously with the recollection of the experience, I knew that supramental world is permanent. My place is there as permanent as it is. And the only missing link was there necessary for the connection to be made in the consciousness and the substance. And this is the link which is now being forced out. So one more message we'll see. The supramental consciousness is a consciousness of the Supreme in totality. When I say his totality, I mean the Supreme in his aspect of manifestation. This is the thing which is going on. Thank you.